Okay, guys, we're going to do the check you understand on page 350. Okay, North Carolina State University posts the grade distribution for its courses online. Students in Statistics 101 in a recent semester received 26% A's, 42% B's, 20% C's, and 10% D's, 2% F's. Therefore, we have the corresponding probabilities that a randomly selected student would get a corresponding grade. Choose a Stats 101 student at random. The student's grade on a 4-point scale is a discrete random variable with the probability distribution. So we have a probability model with a discrete variable of their grades, because there's nothing between an A or a B or a C, and a C, and a D, and a D, and an F. It's not like you can't get a 3.5 or whatever. You can only get an A or a B. There's no pluses and minuses. Okay, saying words with the mean of the probability that X is greater than or equal to 3 is, and then what's the probability? All right, come over my paper. Okay, so I wrote down I recopied our little probability model. Okay, so what this really means is what's the probability? So X is greater than or equal to 3, which basically means it's 3 or 4. Well, in context, it means what's the probability that a randomly selected student is going to get an A or a B? Okay, so what's the probability randomly selected student is going to get an A or a B? So if we think about it in terms of our probability, it's basically what's the probability that X is going to equal 3 or X is going to equal 4. Okay, of course, or is plus, so we just add those two probabilities and we get the probability of 0.68 that a student's going to get an A or a B, or a random variable greater than or equal to 3. Okay, come over to the question. Write the event the student got a grade worse than C in terms of values of the random variable, and then we'll find the probability. Okay, come over. Okay, so student got a grade, let me move it up a little bit. Follow me. Worse than a C, so up here. Worse than a C would be a D or an F. Okay, so I'm gonna say the probability that X is less than 2, not less than or equal to 2, just less than 2. Okay, so the probability that the random variable is less than 2 means it's either got to be 1 or 0, which is our D and our F. So again, or is addition, add those two up, and the probability that a student got worse than a C is 0.12. Okay, then it says sketch a graph of the probability distribution. Oh, sorry, real quick. For this one, I could have also said, what's the probability? Come back up here. Worse than a C would be a D or F, so I could have done the probability that X is less than or equal to 1. Okay, come back down. So that again would still have been the probability that X equals 1 or the probability equals 0, which is our D and our F, so it still would have been the same thing. Okay, so either one of these is correct. Okay, number 3 says create a graph of the probability distribution. So we're going to take our probability model, we're going to put our X's on the bottom, so that's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and our probabilities on the Y. Now our highest probability up here is 0.42, so I only have to go up to 0.5. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the probability of an F, the random variable 0, is 0.02, so that's like really small. Probability of a D, or random variable 1, is 0.1. A C is 0.2. Here, come back down to my graph. A C is 0.2. A B is 0.43. Oh, 0.42, pardon me. And an A or a 4 is 0.26. Okay, and then it says describe what you see. Little socket shape, it is left skewed. It doesn't appear, okay, to have any outliers, so I'm going to say none. The center, again, here's the peak. It's probably going to fall off a little bit, so I'm going to say between a 2 and a 3, okay, approximately between 2 and a 3. And then the spread, well, the range, it goes from 0 to 4, so the range is 4. Okay, these are points, right? This is a grade point average. Okay, see you on the next one.